all. So now tell me which players would you like to sell and which players would you like to bring in our team, Alan?
Yes, I think I've already went through that area, but I'll just talk about it in detail. Like, I think coming to the defense, I don't see a big issue in terms of bringing in more reinforcements. I think the issue comes in the midfield, and I think uh, that's where the talking point should lie in right now. We need a proper center defensive midfielder, something that we have been missing. We have Matic in the squad as a deep lying midfielder, but it isn't enough. The type of attributes shown by the players, it's more of a box to box role compared to a deep lying role. I think the options are lacking, and we need to look at the right profile before bringing in the type of player who can uh, set the tone correctly for the team. And for that reason, I want to have a Declan Rice in the squad, but I don't think it's possible. Chelsea are in the race, and West Ham might charge close to 100 million, and I don't know if United will um, pick up the money from the purse to you know give that much to a player like
Exorbitant
him.
cost.
And yeah, but still, I think he has proved himself in the Euros, as well as how he's carried West Ham in the midfield. That's something we need to uh, look forward towards. And I think being a long term target, he might be there in on the list. And if the cost is right, we might go for him. Otherwise, there are other options like Kamara, who's a free agent, someone we could look towards. And if Ragnick still remains a manager or is having some kind of a power in terms of deciding our targets, Haidara could be one of them. And he has that box to box element in his game as well. But when we are going with a high line, pressing really suits the midfield should be our workhorse um, overall. And I think that can be generated from players like Fred, Haidara, McTominay. And coming to the wing backs, I feel we need someone who can play both left as well as right wing back. Dalot does it, but I think uh, Dalot sticks with the right wing back role at the moment because he does that well compared to the others. I think Luke Shaw has few issues with his injuries. We have been seeing every season he misses few games, and in order to prevent a situation, I think Teles isn't uh, as good as what we can expect from a
Yeah.
wingback in terms of um, the possession and the connection between the uh, back two as well as the winger. It's still missing, and I think he's a good player who can take on the set pieces. But I feel Luke Shaw is able to do it on a better scale as well, and that is something I'm worried about. We need a strong wing back. I think Kieran Trippier was on our list, but he's gone to Newcastle. Maybe if Newcastle gets relegated, he might still come back in the market. Who knows? He has a relegation clause, so that might help. And his experience and going into England's Euro squad is something that might be on his mind. And going into Championship, he might miss on that spot. So United could come up again as an option. So that's someone, and maybe we could go for someone in the French league or Bundesliga whose contract is gonna end. And at the moment, we are not hearing any names. So I'm gonna remain quiet on the wing backs. And coming to um, number nine, I think we can have some backup to certain players. I think Ronaldo will be playing, but when we look at our rivals, especially Man City, they might sign Haaland or Harry Kane. And coming to Arsenal, we are hearing rumors about Vlahovic, and
Well,
so it's pretty scary in terms of how they are coming up with the number nine options. If Ronaldo fits our system at the right moment uh, compared to the other teams, I feel we won't have an issue there. But um, let's see how Ragnick develops the team around a player like Cristiano Ronaldo. At the moment, it hasn't worked yet, but we are seeing there are differences in the numbers from Ole's stint as well as Ragnick's, but we haven't seen uh, uh, with our bare eyes the kind of improvement that Cristiano can bring into the squad. So that's something we need to look at, and we have, if possible, try to bring in someone from the academy. Mejbri is someone who
Yeah.
has done well in the Arab Cup. He is going to start his game, I think, today or tomorrow for Tunisia and AFCON. So that's someone else we need to look forward towards next season. Even he might be pushing for a first team appearance. So we will need to control the way we are bringing in players from the academy, as well as how we look into our transfer budget next summer with players leaving our squad. I think the Paul Pogba situation will go on till late July and August, and we might, screw up our midfield signing in that window. I'm not very confident about it because of the way our club does business um, in a stable manner compared to the other clubs. So yeah, that's all.
James.
I think our players coming in probably are decided by the players going out. Like with the free agents this summer, we could free up a lot of wage for players coming in that we can gamble on a lot of people. Like Pogba probably on 400,000, Kwan Mata, Edison Cavani, Jesse Lingard. They're all on a lot of money, and and even player sales, even like selling players like Phil Jones, Martial. Even if it's like Martial for like 15 million, you can get a lot of quality players for that price. And it'd be nice if we just went out and got like Declan Rice and like Nicolo Barella or Frankie de Jong and just say, we've got the best midfielder in the world now. And it'll be nice. But you can either just go to lower league Premier League clubs and get their midfielders. Like if you go and get Yves Bissouma for 40 million, Calvin Phillips for 40 million, it's instantly upgraded. You've got two Premier League proven midfielders that are good defensively, good on the ball, clearly better than Fred and McTominay in all areas. It might not be like the most amazing signings, but it brings balance to midfield, and that's what our squads are lacking right now is the balance. And you see with Arsenal this season, they don't have the most amazing squad, but their balance works really well. And then I think with our defence, you give players to the end of the season. If they don't improve, they might have to get moved on. Even Luke Shaw, if he carries on the form that he has showed this season, I don't think a 6 month or to a year spell last season, it could just be an anomaly since he's been here since 2014. You don't keep a player on a lot of money just for a 6 month really good patch of form. And then Lindelof and Maguire, if they don't improve, you have to look at another centre back. You might be able to get Rudiger on a free transfer, but he's probably going to Real Madrid or staying at Chelsea. But then you can even go look at clubs like PSG, like Kimpembe. He's sometimes in, sometimes out. Probably not happy with his role. He can expand his role at Man United. A good left-footed centre back. We've been crying out for a left-footed centre back for ages. Him and Varane, they start for France together most of the time. They have a connection there already. If you go by him, and that instantly improves our defence, I think we're in a spot right now where we kind of have to get instant improvements. We can't go and get young players, unproved players like Kamara and Haidara could be good, but we don't know that yet. We kind of got to hope. That's the thing. With Ragnar, he's good at getting players and improving them, but at Man United, you kind of don't have the game time to improve. And that's what we have to get good on. And then forward line, I don't think it really needs any work. It just needs more game time together. If you give Sancho Green with Rashford and then bring in Alanga sometimes, you got Ahmad as well, you got Palestri out on loan. If you give them the game time together, they could come out strong. Like you've seen Arsenal this season, they've just said we'll pay Martinelli, Smith Rowe, and Saka all together, and it just builds connection for the future. And even though they're still so young, they're providing now, and it feeds them more for their future. So I think if we just improve our midfield and just become better in that area, and if we do go out and sign a Declan Rice, it instantly improves everything. But I don't think we're there to spend that much money on one player this window. Probably, Ragnick would probably want to prefer to spend in different areas, improve the squad gradually. But if we can go out and get, I don't know, a Nicolo Barella from Inter Milan, he just signed a new contract. But if you do go sign him, he's the perfect box to box player that you can play next to Bruno Fernandes. He can cover defensively, but also provide attacking. He's really improved his attacking output the last couple of seasons. He's won the league last season with Inter, win in the league this season. These are the kind of players that we need to bring in, proven players, but I don't think we have the capacity to do that right now.
Yeah. So I think, as Alan said, we need a fullback. So, but it's not a priority. Yes, we do need a fullback and a centre back because we need to chip out Phil Jones and Eric Bailly. Although Bailly plays very well, he's very injury prone. He's extremely. I mean, he how many games does he play in a season? 10, 12. That's not
Uh,
good enough for a squad player also. So I think we need to chip out Eric Bailly and Phil Jones for obvious reasons. Of course, he played well against Wolves, but I think if we are challenging for the titles, I think we need to first sell all our fringe players who are either injury prone or don't perform. We should keep Fred and McTominay. They are extremely good squad players. We can when we are rotating. I think Scott McTominay and Fred are very good players, but they are not starters. Uh, for big games, we need players like Declan Rice. We need a proper box to box player or a proper no. What we can say, we need a proper CDM who can control the defensive midfield part of game. There is Neves, uh, there is Bissouma, but I think the what we can say the final piece of puzzle in our squad in our midfield would be Declan Rice. So I would bring Declan Rice, but I still don't know if Ragnick would allow that. We still don't know who would be our manager for the next season. So if Eric Ten Hag comes, I think we could get Frankie De Jong. I think so because of the Dutch relationship they had in the Dutch relationship and what they had at Ajax. But do we really? So he can be a good replacement for Paul Pogba, but we still lack the CDA. And if we get a new manager, uh, I think it's a pattern for the Glazers. Whenever we get a new manager, we make a big money signing. So for Jose, it was Paul Pogba. For Ole, it was Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes. So I think the next manager gets some decent amount of transfer money to spend, transfer budget to spend. So I think Declan Rice should be the one we should be going for. We should not go for players like Kamara or Zakaria who are into no offense to the leagues, but they are not into the English leagues. They are not at the level of the English league. So I think we need to get a proper signing, and I think Declan Rice would be the one for me. We should also get one center back, but he should be a young center back who isn't, and a left footed also, because all our center backs are right footed. I think we need one left footed center back who is young, and we can turn him into a starter for he should be like 19, 20, 22 of age. He should not be playing all the games. He should be playing cup games. He should be playing some of the games with relegation teams. But and for from that we need to build a team, and he should be, after 4 5 years, the player should be into the starting lineup. So I think Benoit Bardashil from Monaco is I don't we aren't linked to him as of yet, but I think we should definitely go for him. Uh, Then Pau Torres is also a good option, but he's not as young compared to Bernard Badersteel. And for number nine, I don't think so. We should go for a number nine, simply because we have Cristiano Ronaldo, and I think we should sell Martial, and we should probably continue with Cavani for another season. So the next season, when Cavani leaves, we can have a proper Mason Greenwood season. I thought this season would be the proper Greenwood season where he would play the number nine role. He played well against Leeds. He played well against Southampton. He played well against Wolves in the number nine role. And I think Mason Greenwood deserves the number nine role, but due to arrival of Cristiano Ronaldo, I think he got pushed back again to the right wing side, despite signing Jadon Sancho. So instead of going for a striker like Alexander Isaac, or if we qualify for the Champions League, if we go for Haaland, I think the Mason Greenwood, we wouldn't see the Mason Greenwood we were expecting. And there are strikers, I think so. Joe Hugill and McNeil in our academy, Charlie McNeil. I think at a certain, I think in next 1 or 2 years they would also start pushing for first team appearances. So we can really we should count on an academy for that. We can push McNeil and Yo Gill for cup games against League One or League Two teams. At least we should try to bring them in the squad and give them some minutes. Then of course Hannibal Mejbri is there. I think if we aren't, if we are willing to take that risk, I think he is the perfect replacement for Paul Pogba. Of course, not perfect. If Pogba leaves, and we spend, if United are that intelligent as well, I know United board isn't intelligent at all. So if they are intelligent, so they would sign a big money. They would sign Declan Rice, and they would probably promote Hannibal into first team, because I think he's too good for the academy, because I have seen clips where fouled continuously. He's fouled continuously throughout the game. So I think he's too good for the academy. He should be, and of course, Donny Van der Beek is also leaving. Most probably, I think he would also leave. I thought he would play this season, but I think he is also leaving alongside Jesse Lingard and Johan Mata also. So almost certain 3 to 4 players are leaving, and we could reinforce by buying a Declan Rice and promoting Hannibal Mejri and James Garner as well, because I think James Garner, although he's not a perfect CDM at the moment, but if he start playing, giving him first team appearances, if he starts playing the Premier League football, or we could loan him to a Premier League team, I think he could be a good squad player as well. So yes, that's it for me. And yes, Ahmad is also there. I think Ahmad's agents are fool to send him into Manchester United, because if he would have gone to Dortmund, I think he would have balled that. Literally would have played very well. He would have got his first team minutes, first team European minutes. He would have really started his career well. But I think Ahmad also needs to go out on loan, because the player has huge potential in him. But again, unfortunately, we are United. We still don't know how to push out our players and bring in some players. We are not that intelligent yet. So yes, so that's it for me. And the last question: was the managerial change necessary this season?
Yeah, I believe so. It was needed because lack of results or the points on table are um, like hazardous for a team like United, especially with the reinforcements that they've brought in this summer, the likes of Sancho, Varane, and Ronaldo. And yes, there are issues with regards to the midfield, but results are always something that a team like United would consider, especially when they plan something for the future. Because Champions League football is something that the Glazers want, and for a team of such potential, if they're playing in the Europa League, it would be wasteful, and they'll have a lot of issues in terms of finance as well, with Adidas's clauses hitting the club once more. by missing out on Europa Leagues, on Champions League spots. So that is one thing, and another thing was the team didn't have control. And I think with a manager with proper philosophy, I'm not saying that Ole didn't have one. I believe he had the identity that was to play fast counter attacking football, and express themselves on the pitch and bring the most out of each individual. I think that was Ole's principle, but Ragnick's principle demanded more cohesion as well as control as a team. But we haven't seen uh, both the elements on a full-time basis. We saw control in the first two games, but lacked cohesion entirely. I think it's due to the new system that Rangnick's brought in to the club. And what I believe is Rangnick won't continue as our manager into next season, or at least we'll have to wait and see how the results improve. And it depends on players like Paul Pogba's future as well. When he comes back from injury, if Rangnick brings him into the squad and he clicks immediately with the snap of a finger, then maybe things might change. Crucial stages like the FA Cup games, as well as the Atletico Madrid games coming up. We are still in a few cup competitions. We'll need to win something in order to make the most out of it. With what the resources that we have currently in our hands, and in order to attract new signings to the club, we'll need to make the most out of it. uh, a managerial change was necessary. And yeah, I think coming to the next season, we'll mostly see either of Pochettino or Ten Hag, but that is a story for another day.
I think the managerial change was probably necessary. It kind of got a bit too far with Ole. The performances against Watford, Liverpool, City, there was nothing there to show that anything was going to improve. And I think Ragnick's a good choice for the short term because it's going to make them work hard. But what I think this squad's lacked over the last few years is just making pass angles, short pass angles. Like the amount of times we see them go for a long ball, go for a long pass. We don't do little interplays with each other through midfield. Our team just hasn't been able to do that. And I think under Ole, it kind of unraveled when we tried to push higher up the pitch. When we were a counter-attacking side, players like Wan-Bissaka and Maguire were playing well because they suited that system. But when you get them players to push higher up the pitch, you need Wan-Bissaka as an outlet to pass. You need McTominay and Fred to be more forward going. It doesn't work like that. They haven't got the ball playing ability to play that way. So when he's caught in two minds of playing counter attack, but also wanting to push high up the pitch, we kind of got into that middle ground, and it didn't work. But then coming in now with Ten Hag and Pochettino, probably the two choices. I think Ten Hag is probably more possession based, and I think that's what our players need. Someone who will come in and teach them how to play out the back properly, because I don't think I've ever seen us play out the back properly from transition from defence to midfield to attack once this season really well. And I think to be a top side in the Premier League, you need to have that transition, need player movement. That's another thing that seems to happen under Ole is our forward line doesn't move for the ball. It's very standstill. There's no off-ball runs. There's no, I'll come here, you come short, I'll go long, I'll provide the width. It's very stagnant. It's all very standstill, and I think that we needed change just to see the results we've had on the rank. Even though they've not been perfect, I don't think we'd have got them under Ole. I think we probably would have drawn them, we would have lost them, we probably conceded more goals. That's what Ragnick's improved. He said even though our strikers and forwards haven't played well, they probably will come good at some point. They have the quality to do that. if you get our defence sorted out, only concede no goals or one goal a game, our strikers and forwards will find a chance at some point. So under Ollie, when we are conceding chance after chance after chance a game, it's not sustainable, and something had to change.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ole should have left after the Europa game, the Europa final. It was, I think I think the board shouldn't have offered him the contract, because before the Europa game they offered him the contract and I think he signed a 3 year extension. I think they should have waited for at least another, but another. I think they should have seen they should have they should have seen the next season what he is gonna do, and I think he got majority of his signings. Varane, Sancho. I think we needed a center back, we needed a right winger, and I think we got both. The first 3 4 games were pretty good because of course Ole has always trashed Leeds United. I have seen that 6-1, 5-2, 5-1. So I think Leeds game is irrelevant for that. He should have been sacked after the Europa final. But I think yes, the managerial change was required, but from the start of the season, because if you are bringing world class players, I think you need a world class manager also. And at that time, Ole, or at this time also, Ole isn't. He is a good manager, but he isn't a top class manager like Guardiola or Tuchel or Jurgen Klopp. We needed someone as you said that we need attacking fullbacks, just like top teams compete for the title. They have good attacking fullbacks who provide the strikers. Same analogy here. We need a proper top class manager who is in the leagues of Pep, Tuchel, not Pochettino also, but Pep, Tuchel, and Jurgen Klopp, because these three managers are top world class managers. They had experience before at bigger teams. Ole came from Molde. His 1920 season was good. Of course, the signings he was given were pretty not good enough. Daniel James, Daniel James and Bisaka aren't going to make you a title contenders overnight. Then the 2021 season also was a little disappointing after he lost to Leipzig, because again he came against a world class manager Julian Nagelsmann and he lost where we needed the win the most. He lost against PSG at home also. So we needed a top class manager since from the start of the season. So I think he should have been sacked after the Europa final, but everything happens for a reason. So I think he got sacked after the Watford game, because Watford game was the lowest point I think this season, and actually he should have been sacked after the City game or the Liverpool game. But I think the board, as usual, move things slowly, so they waited. We had a one fluke game against Tottenham that we won 3-0, but after that again we lost to Watford, a struggling Watford. So I think yes, he should have been sacked.